Hello, in today's tutorial I want to show you a quick way to do a cardboard loom weaving. You can do this in a bigger scale if you want. This is just kind of a beginner's way to use the weaving technique on a loom. So you want a square piece of cardboard. Corrugated cardboard works the best because it's a little bit heavier. You're going to need a ruler, a pencil or a pen, pair of scissors, and you're going to need some string and then also some yarn. So you're going to need the string to make the weft here. But first what you want to do is you want to make sure that your cardboard is cut fairly square, because what we're going to do is you want to mark some slits on either end. And I made mine maybe about a quarter of an inch to a half of an inch thick. You can make them thicker, you can make them thinner. You don't want them too close together, but you don't want them so far apart that you can't weave in between your strings here. So what you do is you just want to take your first mark here, and with your ruler you want to measure down and mark here, and keep doing that. Do another one here and another one here. Whatever your measurement is between here, just make sure that you are somewhat consistent for each one here. So make sure that you get all of those cut on both ends. Do that first. And then taking a piece of string, you want to start in a corner. So what I did here, I started in a corner, and you take the string and you wrap it here. And taking the string, you want to put it here into this slit behind this one here, and then put it back over here. Take it behind this one and pull it out here. This goes behind this one, pull it out here, goes behind this one, pull it out here, and you keep doing that, because the idea is you just want to be able to create a loom that looks like this. So you have some fairly straight lines. You don't have anything up here. You're just taking your string and you're just using these as guidelines as the weft. So once you've got your loom put together, it's fairly easy to do. You can always look it up on the internet if you had some questions. But this is what the back looks like, because when we're putting the straight part here, we're wrapping it around the other ones here, so you can see how it's going every other one. So this is what the back looks like. You can tape down your loose ends so that nothing will come apart. So then once you're ready to go, you can pick out some yarn. So I've just had some purple and pink on hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually measure out a little bit of both. It's important to remember when you're working with this, you probably don't want to use too long, especially when it's younger kids doing this. You probably don't want to use some yarn that is too long, because it can get a little bit bunched up. So if you want to just take maybe about a yard, maybe less than that. So you want to take an end, and I would definitely recommend putting a piece of tape on the piece that you are using to weave, because you just want to make sure that you can get it, because you know how yarn can unravel itself, and doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as there's somewhat of a point that you can grab onto. There. So you can start by going under, and so you want to go under, over, under, over, under, over. Now it's up to you whether you want to pull it all the way through first and then do it. On the very first one, it doesn't really matter, but it might get a little bit caught up if you don't pull it all the way through, but I'll just show you what I mean. I'm just gonna do it the tight way first. So you go under, over this one. So you want to go under this one, over this one, under this, over this, under this, over this, under this, over this, under this, and this one would be over. So you want to make sure that you kind of push it up to the top. Well, actually, it's probably first. You should pull this all the way through. So now, since this is our first one, our little tail here, I'm just going to leave it a tail, and I'm going to tuck this back here So it's right along with my starting piece here. I'm just gonna tuck it back, and I'll probably just tie it off later, but I'm just gonna just keep it back there for now, just so it doesn't unravel itself. So now that you've done your first row, so now when we go back, we go the opposite direction. So, and we go the opposite of what we just did, meaning, so I'm on top of this one, so now I have, if I'm coming back this way, I have to go under this one. Under, over, under, over. So you're going the opposite because we're weaving our way back in the opposite direction. So I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Oops, it gets a little caught up in there. Over, under, over, under, and over. So you just gently pull that through. So again, if you go, you can go under and pull it through, over and pull it through. I find it easier to just do it all at once. And when you get to the end, don't pull it too tight. So now you want to make sure you don't pull it so tight that you are pulling on this string here. You want to just keep it all even. Make sure you readjust yourself in between each time. Go ahead and push that up there. And then you come back and then you start again. So now we went over this one, so now we're going under this one. So you're just repeating what you did above, just the opposite. And remember, it's always in a pattern of over, under, under. And you're doing it in the opposite of the row before it. And you'll be able to see if you did it right. And you always check your work, make sure you slide it up and do that. And then you make it look nice and neat. So then you can see that it looks like they were traded every other one. So that's kind of what it's going to start looking like. So if you want to change your color, you can do a couple things. You can take this and you can cut it off and leave a tail and then just start a new color as if you were starting completely over. Or you can cut this off and tie these together and then go that way. If you do it the first way by cutting this off and just leaving this to the side, you will have to eventually come back and weave it back in. So it's probably easier to just cut this off and then tie on a different color. So we'll do that. Cut that off. And then we'll just tie on another color. And you don't have to switch colors if you don't want to. You can just choose one color throughout the whole thing. One fun way to do it too is to get the string or the yarn that actually changes color as it goes through the skein. Those are pretty easy because then you don't have to pick different colors and you never have to change colors, they just change for you. Okay, so now I've got my pink. So now you still have to go by what the other one did. So this one ended on over, so I'm now going to go under. All the way to the end. Now pull that all the way through. And now you've got your knot to deal with here, so just be aware. There we go. So now that's in the middle of my thing, and I don't mind about that. That's okay. So you're gonna keep going all the way down. You can keep changing colors if you want, but that's kind of the general idea of how you weave on a cardboard loom. When you get all the way to the bottom and you're done, just cut it off. And what you can do is tie these all together. You can take these off like this, and you can, you know, tie a rod in there that you can hang it up. You can tie a knot, tie them all together, or you can leave it here in the loom itself. And you can frame it. Maybe before you even put the slits in there, you can paint it, and then once you're done, you can hang it up on a wall, or you can use it as a practice. So any way you want to do it, it's totally up to you, but I just wanted to show you kind of a brief way that you can do weaving on a loom on cardboard.